The story of Cheggue and why we should respect sacred traditions. Cheggue was a boy of promise, quick with a bow and eager to learn the ways of the hunt. His father, a skilled and respected hunter, took him into the forest one day as the season of celebration drew near. As they moved through the dense trees, the elder hunter paused, his hand raised to stop his son. "Hold your arrow, Cheggue," he said, his voice calm but firm. "The new year is almost here. This is not a time for hunting. Just as we celebrate in the village, the animals have the right to celebrate in the forest. No blood must be spilled during this sacred time." Though reluctant, Cheggue obeyed. Together they returned to the village, where the men set down their weapons and honored the tradition of peace. No hunting, no spilling of blood, only quiet reflection and celebration. But on New Year's morning, before the sun had fully risen, Cheggue was found sitting in the corner of their small home, tears streaming down his face. "Why, Cheggue? Why suku-suku?" his mother, Lydia, asked, her voice filled with concern. "Why are you crying?" "My arrow," Cheggue sobbed. "I left my arrow in the forest. I cannot stop thinking about it. I want it back." Lydia frowned. "Your father told you that now is not the time for such things. Why are you so troubled by a single arrow?" But Cheggue would not eat, nor would he stop crying. "I must have it back," he insisted. Frustrated but moved by her son's anguish, Lydia went to her husband. "Cheggue will not rest. He says he must retrieve his arrow." The hunter shook his head. "Now is not the time to go back into the forest. If something bad happens, it will be on your head, Lydia." Still, Cheggue's cries did not cease, and eventually his father relented. "Fine, let him go, but let him know. This is against the spirit of the new year." With the tension heavy in the air, Cheggue set out alone, his small figure disappearing into the forest. It was eerily quiet when he arrived, but as he stepped further in, he spotted his arrow lodged in the underbrush. Relief washed over him as he picked it up. Suddenly, he heard voices, not human voices, but the laughter and chatter of animals. Peering through the trees, he saw them gathered in a clearing, feasting and drinking a steaming, golden liquid. It was dengue, the sweet, hot drink made from corn, and the animals were celebrating the new year, just as his father had said they would. Cheggue watched, mesmerized by the scene, but as he saw the largest and oldest animal, a majestic figure with wise, knowing eyes, his heart raced. Ignoring the warnings of his father, he notched the arrow to his bow and let it fly. It struck the elder animal in the heart, silencing the celebration in an instant. Cheggue did not return to the village. When the sun began to set and Cheggue was still absent, Lydia gathered a group of women to search for him. They called his name as they wandered through the forest. "Cheggue, oi, Cheggue, Cheggue, oh, Cheggue." But there was no answer. The women heard something else instead, a chorus of voices, singing and chanting. They could not understand the strange words, so they returned to the village and fetched the men. The hunters followed the sounds deeper into the forest until they found the source. A group of animals had emerged, dancing and singing in unison. Their words were haunting. "Cheggue, oh Cheggue, tanike Cheggue ni beun, Cheggue ono chono irelo." Cheggue up the creek. Cheggue saw us joyously celebrating the new year. With an arrow, he killed our chief. With an arrow to the heart. Cheggue is dead. His body is over there in the creek. The hunter pushed through the animals and found his son lying still by the water's edge. He lifted Cheggue's lifeless body onto his shoulders and carried him home, the weight of the boy matched only by the weight of his grief. Moral of the story. Cheggue's tragic fate serves as a warning about the consequences of impatience and disrespect for sacred traditions. The new year was a time of peace, meant to honor not only human customs, but also the harmony between humans and nature. Cheggue's decision to prioritize his desires over the sanctity of the holiday disrupted this balance and ultimately cost him his life. The story also highlights the interconnectedness of all living things. The animals in the forest celebrated as humans did, emphasizing the need for mutual respect and coexistence. Chegge's failure to recognize this led to his downfall, reminding us that our actions, especially those born of impulsivity or selfishness, can have far-reaching consequences. This tale, rich in symbolism, underscores the value of patience, tradition, and understanding the rhythms of the world around us. It is a lesson in humility and the importance of honoring the connections that bind us to all forms of life.